Welcome to season 2, everybody. We're gonna open this with the same night, actually. Vaughn is walking the streets of London towards Bromley with Benjamin on his side, who's chewing loudly on some fish and chips and stating that American junk food is way better. But you do arrive outside the bar. It's playing the usual very, very loud rock and roll, in this case Rage Against the Machine, loudly on the speakers. There are no customers or clientele outside. There's no line or anything. Jamar is standing guard as usual. He's just nodding as you approach.
And Vaughn looks over at Benjamin like, hey, why don't you just chat up Jamal for a little bit out here? It makes for good conversation. I don't really want you involved in this, if that's all right.
Sure. Just call if you need me. I'll be nearby.
All right. Thanks, man. Hey, Jamal, what's up? Sorry if I go on in.
He just nods. He has a bruise on his face. It looks fresh, but like someone punched him or something. But he's just quiet as usual and lets you through.
All right. And in the hallway, I imagine there's like a little hallway from what I remember from the... Can anyone see me right now?
You hear, the music is way too loud, but there's no one out there in the hallway at the moment. You see a wall that's cracked or mashed in. Like someone really bumped into it.
Vaughn's just thinking like, what? Well, all right then. Putting two and two together between Jamal's face and the wall. And he's going to do some fuckery. I'd like to rouse, please.
Yes.
What's the damage?
Rousing success.
That's a success. Vaughn's starting off the night right.
I know. Let's keep it up. I'd like to use imposter's guise, and I want to look like Prince Alex Kairos, fully decked out.
Do the roll. You have studied Alex. You've been near him before, so you can do that.
Am I on the effects of drugs? I'll let you determine that. Like, do I get a +1 to that for any reason or no?
I think I said yes the last time, and it's still the same night. You haven't fed yet.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if I had fed or not. So let's see. Modifiers. Come on, baby.
4.
I think a 4 is the bare, like, minimum amount for it to be convincing.
Yeah, difficulty 4. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
If you want to act like him, you also have to do a manipulation and performance.
And I also have a specialization in that, so is it if I go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, here we go. Performance, manipulation, and then I get a +1.
4.
Alright.
You get
my willpower.
The mannerisms and the speech patterns, right? You think?
I kind of like play with myself, I'd be like, I'm Alex Kairos. Okay, I think I got it. I'm looking in the mirror, saying it back to myself. And then I go to the room that we usually would meet in, that I would assume would be the place.
No, you enter the bar area and see a good amount of people. Gabriel is there, Josh is there, Isa is there. I don't know if you've seen... No, I don't think you've seen Isa before. She's a mid-20s Turkish woman, hijab, very pretty. Nemesis is there. And 3 other people you haven't seen before. They're standing around her. Björn, he's, rock and roll Viking looking type. A lot of army tattoos. a jeans jacket with wolf, not embroideries, but patches on it. Hugin, he has a wicked smile like Josh, and he has unkempt hair and beard. He's very loose clothes, but what's weird about him is he's wearing a blazer jacket that does not fit the rest of the outfit. And a librarian-looking woman with half-moon glasses and a dress suit and very orange hair. And 3 other people you haven't seen before. These are kind of spread around the room. There's a young, blonde, blue-eyed, she has a lot of dirt on her clothes and face and everything. She's quite pretty, but it's masked by all the shit or dirt. You're not quite sure. She's hunched over, crouched in a position, and she's actually scratching herself behind the ear with a foot. She's not wearing shoes. Then there's he's a traditional gunslinger looking type with a fucking hat and a coat and everything. You just see in front of him, there's just guns lined up all over the table, which he's currently polishing. And then there's a young mulatto man, you think, standing at the bar, currently talking with Josh. He seems very friendly and charming in his demeanor. As you enter the room, though, Björn, Jake, the gunslinger-looking type, they pull guns out and aim it at you immediately.
I feel like I failed the vibe check here. I feel like this is
And the whole, the room goes quiet, the music is turned off, and everyone's just staring at you. And these 2 guys are just waiting to pull the trigger on the very large Desert Eagles.
Times when you don't want to be Alex.
apparently. And so as Alex Kairos Vaughn is just like, so I've been informed by everyone's favorite Ravnos, Vaughn, everyone's colleague, that this meeting was being held without me and was meant to be had without my knowledge.
Gabriel, he speaks up and says, "This is Anarch business."
Oh, really? Because last time I checked, this was my domain.
This is Bromley. This is my domain. Let me just make a roll here for... I think the only one who can see through your bullshit. Maybe. Three? Nope. I feel like Josh is looking at you. Really scanning you, though.
And I look back at Josh too, and kind of like if he was like, there was a sense of like, oh, he probably would have known but if there's no recognition, he's just gonna. So why don't you tell me exactly what is going on here? I'm curious. Maybe I can help out with my vast resources.
Nemesis says, unless you want to end up like your scourge, you better leave.
Oh, my scourge. And pray tell, what happened to my scourge?
She's smiling again and said, lost an arm. Because Gabriel is so charitable. And he looks at you and says, can we talk about this later in private?
And Alex Kairos sort of like just takes a look around the room. Are they still pointing guns at him?
Mm-hmm. 2 of them are.
And so he just walks over, takes a chair, and like turns it around, and like it's facing towards the opposite way, and he sits on it oppositely. And the moment he sits down in the chair, Imposter's Guise drops, and it's Vaughn.
Josh is clapping his hands and starts to laugh. The Raven is impressive. The Raven is so impressive. And it feels like everyone is relieved. And the tension disappears.
All right, guys. I don't know what's. And he just. Are they still pointing guns at him?
Oh, they put them away.
All right. And he's like, listen, I'm going to level with you guys. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know why you don't want him to know about it. But my gut's telling me I probably don't want to know either, and I should probably just leave and never mention this to anyone ever again. At this point where I don't know anything.
Gabriel walks over to you and puts a gentle hand on your shoulder. I feel like you need to be here. We're not about to kill anyone, but we need to discuss Alex. I haven't given up on him yet, but I'm sure you have noticed a change in him. And
Yeah, you could say that.
I feel like you are the most neutral party of your coterie. And I would like your input, because he looks around the room. If it's up to a lot of these guys, we would simply just burn down his house. And I do not want violence.
All right. Then we're on the same page with that.
Nemesis scoffs at the comment.
So, if you don't mind me asking, this change of heart, because everyone was, hand in hand up until, I guess, tonight, apparently. What spurred this on? Because I know what sort of broken the dream for me. But honestly, Alex is just acting more like a prince than ever. What was the breaking point for you?
I prefer the rock star.
So do I.
But I feel like with people like you by his side, he can still be guided back to that. You are a council member, I guess.
I don't know.
We do need to
Because
make...
what yours...
Sorry?
Go ahead.
He just says we do need to make plans, though. I want to fortify Bromley because a lot of very old Camarilla are arriving soon. And I don't want them to get the idea that a nightly anarch hunt would be a fun and good sport. Hence why I'm fortifying my position.
Is that what happened to Jamal's face? Or the wall in there?
And
Is
then
this part of the fortifications?
Maren tried to force her way in here. I told her she was not welcome. We had a bit of a confrontation. She lost an arm and now she's gone.
Oh, now that makes sense. Alright. Why don't you leave town? Organize something. The Anarchs stay away for one night. Once it's over, they come back.
It's not my style.
I understand. That's what I would do. That's fine.
Isis, he speaks up and says, I just want to note that he actually didn't kill me and he spared me. Bradford had presented me as a Diablerie victim and he didn't do it. He killed Bradford. So I just want to note that. And Gabriel nods.
I understand that. I do. My issue is that when I kind of got involved in this, it's because I had to. Because the previous prince forced my hand. And now that Alex has become... There's good in him, yeah. He's not an asshole, or at least he's not that much of an asshole. But he seems to be becoming more like a regular prince as time goes on. And so... I know what you're saying, and he looks at Gabriel when he says this, that I should help. I should stick around. maybe bring him back to the proverbial light, so to speak. But who's to say that's not going to just make me into an ash pile before it happens?
I have a feeling you're a slippery eel.
I mean, I'm capable of making mistakes, as someone was so keen to point out. And he looks at the guy who pointed guns at him when he first walked in. I just know my limits, is all.
Josh is mumbling. The blackened stone is still wandering the earth. And everyone just looks at him with like a raised eyebrow and then ignores him.
So you want to fortify. What else do you want to do?
Well, wait it out. And when the elders have left, I want to have a conversation with Alex and reach a compromise.
What more do you want? Because I thought you already struck an accord.
Well, I want Bromley, first of all, and the two closest domains. I don't know if I can push him to get that much real estate, but I'm gonna try. But I want Bromley as Anarch territory, where we can do whatever we want without Camarilla influence. And keeping down. Not creating too much attention that would cause any issues for Alex.
And do you think he's going to go along with this? He's going to give you what you want?
If you present a venture a good enough deal, then they're gonna take it. And he does owe me.
You use ventures, you might need to sweeten the deal more than he just owes you something. What would you offer him?
I mean, I'm gonna have his back if he needs me. Like I usually do. Like with Blackmore. Might show up a bit late, but...
Alright.
Nemesis speaks up, and we can't just, firebomb all the Camarilla, because then all the worst of them are gonna show up. Even though it would be fun.
I'm sure it would be. Alright, well. You're asking me to do my part in this?
Just try to tell them to stay away from Bromley for now. For their own good.
I'll see what I can do.
He looks at Jake and Bjorn and says, I want you up high. If you feel like anyone is approaching with bad intent, you have my permission to take them out, but don't destroy them. They look a bit disappointed and nod.
Is it right if I do a quick insight check on Gabriel?
Yeah.
Like, I've just been watching him the entire time, trying to get like a good read on him. Like, does he really want peace, or am I being used as a ploy?
Yeah, just 1 second before you do the roll, I'll give you the difficulty. He's not good at hiding what he feels. 2. Bro.
2? Insight and wits, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Come on, baby. No! Should I willpower that?
Well, you can
Did I get one back? I expended one last session. Do I gain one back? Okay. Alright, then I will expend it.
You can reroll 2.
Alright. So if I reroll 2.
Two.
All right.
Two is enough.
Mhm.
Well, he wants peace. He does not want like any trouble. But you could also say he's scared of the Camarilla and what they might do. And he's not scared for himself. He's scared for his people.
And Vaughn says, I'll see what I can do. And then he has like this realization. And then he does the same kind of gesture that Gabriel did to him. And he puts his hand on his shoulder gently. He's like, I'll see what I can do. And he kind of like looks at all the other people around and kind of gives like a bit of an indication that, oh, I get what's happening here now.
The red-haired doctor lady, she's jotting down a lot of things, and you feel like she's studying everyone. The two Gangle, very obvious Gangles, they are kind of hunched together and just... It's not really talking, but more they're watching each other. And I mean, you're good with animals, and it looks very primal to you, what they're doing. They're not communicating with words. Nemesis speaks up and says, if it comes to war, I have a nuke prepared. But it's uncontrollable if I release it.
And Vaughn just looks over at Nemesis and he's like, I really don't want to know. So please say no more.
She's just smiling. Again, she's beautiful, and but her smile is wicked and her eyes are even more menacing.
All right. And Vaughn stands up from his chair, spins it around, pushes it back under the table, just gives Gabriel a nod. And
he fist bumps you.
Fist bumps. and I'm like, dude, like the finger guns. And then so Vaughn turns around, stops, and then turns back around and looks at Gabriel. Have you heard anything about Scarlet?
He gets a very sad look on his face. No, I haven't seen her since that night. But
All right.
Josh has been saying some terrible things.
Like what?
I mean, most of it is gibberish, but he looks at you. I'm not sure you want to know. You're gonna see her soon, so...
Maybe I'll ask her in person.
Good luck. And tell her she is always welcome. Even though she's Archon.
All right. And Vaughn just studying Gabriel for a second.
He has a sad look on his face, but he composes himself and then starts to turn around, sorry, and give people orders to take positions. The two first to leave, I think they're leaving either with you or before you, is Jake and Bjorn, and they have each of them I mean, Jake is carrying what looks to be a normal sniper rifle, but Bjorn is carrying something that looks like it should be mounted on something, but it has no mount. It's a very, very, very large rifle, custom made. And it looks like if you fired, it would take your shoulder off.
And Bond just looks that over and then looks at Gabriel and just gives a nod. And then walks out.
You get outside and Benjamin is just talking his ass off, and Jamar is not even looking at him. He's like a brick wall, and but Benjamin is having fun at least. He looks at you. We done?
Yep, we're all good.
And he looks at Jamar. Not very talkative. Is there a... Oh, go ahead.
Vaughn just gives Jamar like the equivalent of like $20. I don't know what that is in pounds, but puts it in his pocket. Thanks for babysitting him, he says to Jamar, and then turns around back to Ben.
He just nods. Is there anything else you want to do before we end the scene?
Vaughn just looks at Benjamin, and they just start walking towards, I almost called it Venture Tower, but Alex's place, and it's just like, shit's really heating up, but there's a little bit of light in the darkness.
Before I forget, for the last session, you get a group text from Naomi saying that everyone should meet and gather.
Okay, then that's where we would head, because Vaughn would assume that everyone was going to go there, so.
Alright. We jump scene to JK. You're preparing a lot of stuff. You have finished reading up on the ceremony. You think you have learned it. Your roll was pretty good and you have been in the zone with your messy crit. But after you finish reading, you start coughing, which is not something you've done in like 70 years. Nothing comes up, but you just feel like suddenly it's not hard to breathe because you don't do that, but you feel like there's something inside you that wants out, and you get like a dry cough.
That's new. Nothing to worry about. JK will just say out to himself and then keep working on his ritual.
Albert is there and he's returned. This is, I think, 2 hours before dawn. He asks, are you ready?
I think so. But I think perhaps we should start this right after we awake again. That way we have a full night ready in case anything goes bad.
Oh, sorry, this is not 2 hours, but this is 4 hours before dawn. He nods, and you get the text, or at least you see the text from Naomi that's telling people to gather.
I'll just reply to it and say that it's getting late. I have to make preparations for tomorrow.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna jump a bit around in time, I guess, and jump to the next evening. So you can do your ceremony, if you still want to.
Approximately 10 minutes after JK awakes, he'll make sure that everything is set out. Then he'll start burning various incenses, lighting up the entire room, almost like an altar around the body of Vara, making sure that it's all her favorite smells that she enjoyed in life and some that he thinks she might enjoy. That said, in total, it just becomes this almost a wall of scent that surrounds the entire room. And then he grabs the silver dust he has prepared and pours it in onto her eyes so that they're completely covered, almost like having goggles on, but made of silver powder. And then he begins to chant all the words of the ceremony itself as he beckons for Var to enter the body laid before him.
Do the rouse and the ceremony roll. It's a level 5 ceremony, so the difficulty is 6. Rousing success.
That's something. And then ceremony.
You get 1 extra die.
Okay.
No, let me think here. 1 extra for Albert because he's assisting.
Mm-hmm.
And the shroud is thin, so 1 extra. I think 2 extra in total.
Okay. I'm gonna willpower that.
Six is enough?
Yep, just barely.
Well, the incense is burning, and Vara is, well, the ghost version of her is touching her own corpse through the glass. The whole room starts to shake a little bit. The lights flicker. And there's a very strong presence of oblivion in the room. But she's pulled willingly into her own body again. And have you removed the glass casing, by the way? Or at least, I assume it's airtight.
It is airtight.
Yeah.
JK will just start lifting it off carefully, preferably with Albert's help, since he's in the room.
You lift it off. Air, well, surrounds her body, and she gasps in there, opens her eyes, and sits up very fast, looking around the room, a little bit confused, looking at her own hands and feeling her body. Like,
Careful. Your body hasn't moved in 70 years. It might be a bit brittle.
I do feel stiff. She turns to fling her legs to try to stand up at least, but then she starts coughing, and this black goo comes out in her hands.
Do I recognize what it is? In any way, shape, form?
I mean, it's your own creation, so yes, you clearly use this is the influenza that's going around. Very fast working influenza. She's looking scared. Albert lifts one eyebrow in wonderment.
That's an issue.
What's happening?
Something's going around the town. I'll make sure to work on a cure as soon as possible.
You didn't wake me
JK
just for me to die again, right?
Hopefully not. And JK is just gonna run to the nearest bookshelf of medical things and just start pouring out everything about influenza and just start working.
Well, I think intelligence and academics is required here to see how fast. You have Naomi's notes as well about what she discovered about the virus.
Would my specialty in biology help?
Very much so.
So that's an extra dice?
Yep. 4.
I'll reroll that. 5.
Well, with a normal virus, you would make like a vaccine from a very little amount of it, or in some cases a dead version of it. But you know that there are parts of oblivion in it, so the vaccine would probably have to go through some sort of sorcery to counter the part where you wake up as a zombie. But I mean, she's not dying immediately, and it is a grim thing, but she probably has around 2-3 weeks tops.
That's a workable timeline. And JK is very visibly fidgeting with like piece of a thumb bone, just anxiously doing any movement.
Once in a while you have the same, like, just a cough, just a one here and there.
This isn't good.
Albert notes that maybe you should ghoul her to give her extra resistance.
I don't know whether that would make her more resistant or just fully poison her right now.
I see. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye on her while you figure that out. Just to
She'll
make...
live for a couple of weeks at least. I have that time to make a cure. Sorts.
Well, if you need anything, let me know.
Thank you.
You hear a shriek from upstairs. Not like a terrifying shriek, but more like very excited shriek.
I'll run upstairs. Let's try to see what's going on.
Morrigan, she's sitting down on almost like she has been meditating. She has a very, very big smile on her face as she looks at you and says in broken English, "He's awake."
Who?
My husband. I felt his presence.
Wasn't he in one of those coffins?
Yes, but he's entering this reality as we speak. Finding his way through the
Lovely.
shadows.
Huh. That's news. By the way, I've just resurrected my friend, so if you just be careful not to eat her, that would be lovely.
No, you have been such a good host.
Thank you.
Can my husband seek refuge here as well?
As long as he doesn't eat my friend.
I'll tell him not to. Oh, he's probably very hungry. I should probably look for him. She turns into a raven as she says that.
I recommend eating from outside this district. Things are going down.
Squawk!
Likewise. And JK is just gonna brainstorm every single thought he has about how to fix this.
Is there anything else you want to do before we change scene?
Just break books. If anything's not useful, just tear it into and toss it into a pile.
Yeah. I hear you. We jump back in time a bit. Late night. Alex's Kyra's penthouse. I think Naomi, you're on the way there. Same with Vaughn. I think, Alex, you have made the final preparations for Judith's return. She's still sleeping.
Yep.
You know Adrian is taking care of her. The lights start to flicker for a moment, and then out of the shadows, a armless Mirren falls out. Just tumbles to the ground.
He's going to go over to her. What the hell happened to you?
Gabriel tore off my fucking arm.
If I may interject, I have been informed, as your herald, that the Anarchs are 1 and DEFCON, I think it's 5 or something like that, or whatever. They're fortifying because all of the Camarilla are coming here. They're not really open to any visitors, but they are interested in when this is all said and done, this is blown over, they want to make a deal for, what was it, Brumley? So
they tore off my Scourge's arm.
I think they kind of, according to them, Marin sort of, how do I
He's
put
just
this?
waiting for an explanation. He's just like calmly, like, yeah.
Marin was a very good Scourge, is all I'm gonna say. Her introduction into the premises was, according to them, and from what I saw from the hole in the wall, a little bit, it needed work. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fucking ghoul tried to reject me. Well, apparently I'm not welcome there anymore, since I'm too close to the prince.
Again, DEFCON 5.
When you say DEFCON 5, in more specific terms, obviously, I see that you know something about this situation. You have details. Your limbs are intact. Care to share, Vaughn?
Can I just 1 second? I think, Naomi, you enter as this conversation is going on.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Hello
It's
there.
good to see you here. I got your text. We're in the middle of the thing.
I can see that.
Marin is looking very pissed.
Yeah. It's okay. I don't blame you. That was rude of them.
They let me in because, well, they see me as being more of a neutral party. Or at least someone who's not altogether that completely jazzed about the bureaucracy of a 1,000-year-old Camarilla. So I thought they would probably use, I was kind of like a conduit to you, so to speak.
So they want, if I'm to understand this correctly, and again, sorry about your arm, we'll deal with that. They want to basically claim territory, and they're willing to tear arms off to have it. This is how they're beginning negotiations, correct?
I know it looks rough, but they feel like they're in occupied territory, essentially.
They are.
That what's basically happening is that the entire army is showing up of the Camarilla. All these Methuselahs are showing up in one place, and they're a little nervous.
Okay.
I think this was a bit of an unfortunate situation, but ultimately they want peace. I got a good vibe from them.
Marin says, I still think it's a bit of an overreaction. I didn't even hit him that hard.
Right? You know, you were with them for the longest time, and then they just rip your arm off. I mean, what's that all about? Like,
There was also significant property damage. Just throwing that out there as well.
yeah, but that might not have been Marin at all. Have you seen the way anarchs like have a good time? Like, property damage is just part of the process.
You make a good point. I wasn't there to see it happen, but
Well, the hole is where I was tossed into the wall before he tore off my arm.
Okay.
He said my affiliations were too fickle.
Vaughn, I have a question for you.
of course.
How easy are you to be influenced?
Well, let's just say I made a habit of being very much in control of what influences me. If you catch my drift.
That's fair. Have you been able to really articulate the core needs of the anarchs? Can you at least in this moment represent them and what they're demanding?
They would probably have more to say about it, but the basic gist that I got and what Gabriel impressed upon me in our brief conversation was that things are very dangerous for them. They're worried about the encroaching horde of the Camarilla, my word, not his. And ultimately, when this is all said and done, he wants Brimley. He wants a place that they can call their own, and he's willing to work with you. He says he owes you. He says you owe him, and not only that, he says that should the need arise where you need backup, he can help provide that. That's his side of the bargain, in exchange for Brimley.
You know, this unfortunately falls a lot on Alex, unfortunately. I don't think after everything that happened with the, what do you call them? Sabat. I don't think we're exactly in the position to open up about negotiating real estate. That being said, we are, yes, quite occupied with this event, but historically, they don't have any reason to go against our quote unquote rock stars trust. So I really would like to know what's at this core of their again, it could be historical, we don't really know. England's old, so
Mirren says, well, I can tell you there are a lot of them there.
yeah. And I know we outnumber them.
Our primogen expresses it pretty well. Everything I've done has also benefited them under my reign, under my praxis. And so I'm going to take the missing limb here as debt paid in full. I don't owe Gabriel anything now because he ripped off the arm of my scourge. Instead of going back and forth about this, we're just going to call it even right there. If Gabriel wants to have a conversation with me that doesn't involve ripping off limbs, I can plainly and in a calm and civilized way explain to him how everything I've done so far has benefited him as well, and how we have dealt with one threat after another, with and without his help. And you know, if that's not enough for him, then maybe I need to basically remind him of everything that we've done that has been to his benefit. So far, my practice has been good for Gabriel, much better than the previous one.
Well, can we also remember that Gabriel also did not hesitate to stake one of our coterie mates?
Yeah. Yes, we can. It's a fair point.
Well, and if you noticed through this entire conversation, Vaughn is not this way he usually is. His demeanor is a little bit different right now. He's more serious than he usually is. And he's like, well, after this ball, and if we're still all alive, I will broker a meeting between you and Gabriel, my prince.
Darius appears again out of nowhere, as she usually does, and says, sorry to interrupt. I have a friend I would like to introduce to the court. He's downstairs at the moment.
Alex is going to page Mr. Harris, protocol, all of that, you know. Okay, bring him up. Want to tell me a little about him, Sheriff?
One moment, actually. I have something to say before we move on to Vaughn. Vaughn, you're under a lot of pressure to perform. Alex knows very well what it's like to go up on stage, especially if you're crafting something from scratch, to not only perform for our, lack of a better word, divine council, everyone who's above us. I would like to... I do feel like there's some subtle nuances that you haven't really filled us on, but I don't think we could continue on handling them unless there's more presence to kind of see or even smell what other intentions could be underlining some of this conversation you just had. Plus, I see why they would approach you, but when we're dealing with princely matters, it's really important that you don't get ambushed with these kinds of expectations, especially from someone who isn't exactly historically shown that they're kind.
I understand. Believe me, I'm being very careful. and how I handled these sensitive matters.
I believe you.
Darius
That's it.
looks at you, Alex, kind of looking at the conversation and looking a bit annoyed, and then he looks back to you, Alex, because, I don't know, he feels like his thing is more important at the moment. He says, well, I met him and he helped me with the Sabbat in the Middle East, and I believe he would make a tremendous seer for your court. Of course, you would have to approve and everything, but he just arrived in London, and I mean, it's protocol to meet the court and the prince when you enter the city.
Traditions, hospitality, absolutely, yeah. We will discuss this more. Vaughn, I appreciate the information and the fact that you at least represent us well. And we will need to continue these sorts of, I hesitate to say negotiations because I don't see this as that, but clarifications of terms, I guess, is a better way to put it. I'm not looking for another fight with yet another group right now, but I would like at least the one group that, again, has benefited from my praxis to be just a little bit more polite about the way they treat my court members. I feel like that's not asking the world there. And throwing her around, using her as some kind of football, and then ripping off her arm doesn't qualify. So I can understand their fear and their trepidation and their anxiety. That's adorable. But I don't appreciate them abusing my court. That's clearly out of bounds. So we'll be discussing this further and clarifying where the lines are in terms of what's acceptable behavior and what's it not. And I understand it's Gabriel. Most nights are just involving beer and breaking things. So I understand where he might not quite understand what proper manners are. So I'll just have to come to terms with him, have a little chat, clarifying etiquette, proper behavior, ways to treat court members, especially court members that have been with him for a while now. I mean, it could have been your arm. I'm just saying. So yeah, I don't want any of my own personal court to feel endangered anytime they go over there. So especially in the fact that we haven't hurt any of theirs as well. So again, not a great way to start off taking first blood, as it were. And he's going to help Marin up and see to it that she gets what she needs to try to heal that injury.
Can I go eat?
Yeah. You have permission to do that.
She does not jump through the shadows. She walks to the elevator.
Yeah.
Which opens.
Put something around you. Most people might not understand. A shawl or something, just to,
The elevator door opens with Mr. Harris and someone you have not seen before. Cradle, can you please describe what you look like?
Yeah. Cradle's in nice little jumper. Looks pretty bright. Very clean, pretty fresh. But he's wearing kind of sunglasses and stands with a bit of a hunch. He looks initially a little awkward, maybe. Like he's got his hands in his pocket in a not very familiar or comfortable way. Like they're just kind of jammed in there. And you can see he's literally fidgeting with a tissue that's in his pocket. He's got some okay looking jeans on, what looks to be some high tops that have seen better days, and is definitely dressed down compared to probably what he should be. But kind of underneath his hair, underneath his hood, you can see kind of this slightly strange hair that looks to be kind of wavier and whiter than it should be. And he kind of looks up. You can't really see his eyes because of the sunglasses, and he's not like surprised that the door has opened. But there's a moment of steeling himself for meeting some new friends at school.
Darius leans in, Alex, and just whispers he is an expert in the dealings of the Sabbat. And Darius walks towards your cradle and kind of just gestures for you to meet everyone. He smiles to you. None of you have ever seen Darius smile before, but apparently this person is something he thinks highly of.
Yeah, he like bites his lip and walks over, and as he does, like you can smell, he smells sweaty, like of human sweat, which is just a strange thing to come from a kindred. But like there's like the real sense of someone's just been to a gym or something, like it's that BO kind of emanating from him a little bit, not overpowering at all, but like definitely like a very human smell as he walks in. And you know, he like clasps Darius's hand and pulls him in for like that kind of shoulder hug thing, and then walks in and kind of sees people kind of point a finger gun at a lot of you, see how you respond, and so this is formal, isn't it? You look so good. So many kindred these days, so beautiful. And their faces, clothes, I love it.
Welcome to London.
Yes, thank you. I like it here so far. I went to see the zoo. Yeah.
Well, it is a fine place to visit.
It's better than the zoos we had, I tell you. You been to the zoo recently?
You want to introduce yourself? You've come very highly recommended.
Me and Darius, we go way back. I saved his neck a couple of times. It was a lot of fun for me, less so for him. That was rough, buddy. You okay now? I heard you got like kind of chopped up a bit.
He just lifts an
Something about
eyebrow.
a bear?
Yeah.
Man,
Unfortunate accident.
that's rough.
Well,
Yeah.
I see.
He looks at you and he mouths Malkavian.
Yeah, I'm getting it loud and clear. Yeah, there's no normal ones of those.
No, you're right. But we we learn to deal.
I've met others and quite familiar.
Oh, there are a few here. Yeah.
Yeah, there
You can
are.
feel it, when you're around people like that. There's just this energy.
It really is. I see that you're keeping up with current fashion. You got yourself. I mean, perhaps washing.
Oh no, I showered. Well, I showered recently. Like
really?
Oh yeah, I was just
past
hanging
3
out with
months?
some people. We just
Oh,
Yeah. They're
okay.
great.
I got it. Well, maybe make a regular practice of that. Just because we're getting a lot of strong.
Hey, I didn't see this coming. I was just saying.
I understand.
You can
Sometimes
blame me if you want. But I'm trying to put you off balance.
I get it.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I've been there. I have, and I appreciate it. I do. Sometimes everything catches us by surprise, and you are certainly a surprise tonight, along with a number of other surprises. So you know what? That's just how we roll.
Oh, you guys are always worrying about the end of the world. Is it probably this time? Or is that
No.
later?
That's just normal business for us. Like that's old minutes and all that. So
Well,
He's going to introduce himself like, I am, of course, you've heard of me.
Alex Kairos, the prince.
Alex Kairos, yes, the one, the only, the Prince of London.
We have JK, yes.
Yes.
Naomi, Darius, that was Marin who just went. I've been around a little bit.
Yeah, I see
people's
that.
faces and names. I've been watching from a long way away. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you've done your homework. I'm impressed.
Well, I mean, there's a reason I come to London. You know.
We might have. You say that you now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Darius tells me that you've just mentioned some dealings with the Sabbat. Yeah.
Oh, I like most people. I do. I really do like most people. Yeah.
Me too. They're not nice people, though.
Well, I know. I like most people, but
you don't like them, though, right?
No. Well, Sabbat. I mean, whew, talk about a tough crowd. They really. You got to be in. You know, I've seen some cults. Like, oh my man, my brother once. He was in America, and these cults just. They had them doing some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like? I won't. It's our first meeting. I'm talking all about myself. I'm sorry.
No. Human furniture. I've got it. You know.
Well, in Arkansas, then in that case, there was some real shady shit going on.
I'll say, yeah, and the punchlines are absolutely fucking killer. You know, like it's awful with them. Like it's all the humor in the room, it just gets sucked out. Like it's over.
I mean, telling knock jokes to a Sabbat member is just.
You'd be lucky if you walk away with your head. So
I'm lucky then. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Good to know. Good to know.
They don't work so well as well in Arabic.
It's good to have you. The hoodie. You're going to attend tomorrow night. You're going. Yeah. The hoodie. It's not gonna work. So I know maybe normal Tuesday outfit. Got it. But you know, see this right here. Yeah. You know, I'm sure if you don't have one, we can get you tailored.
I have a suit.
Okay, good.
I just need to go back to the zoo.
Right. Exactly.
It's just temporary haven.
The zoo.
Temporary haven.
Okay. Let me know if you want an upgrade, right? I've got some places, right? I can set you up with something, right? I mean, some people, you know, I'm not going to judge, right? But I'm just saying, you know, the zoo. Wow, you really do like the zoo.
I love animals.
I think we're gonna get along very well, you and I.
Right? This guy right here? The zoo.
Yeah.
He never even considered the zoo as an option for like staying. You know,
there's loads of kind of enclosed places. It's great. I got a couple of friends there.
Yeah. I stayed in the cave once. Us and everybody here. Yeah, it wasn't great though. It wasn't. It's not the way I roll. You know, I don't. This is how I like to roll. You know, like I just. But hey, you do you. You know, like straight up. Like it might be difficult. I don't know. Press iron. You know, just make sure that the suit is good. You know, I mean, we don't want you smelling like a bear. I'm just saying. Yeah.
With that note, the elevator door opens. Regina Blake walks in and says, "Ugh, what is that smell?"
Right? I know. We've told it. This is Cradle, right? And we've addressed the aroma. Yeah.
Charmed.
Yeah. Strange face. I understand. Yeah. Regina, it's so good to see you. Are you here to also impart a delicious surprise for us tonight? We've been getting them about every 10 minutes.
I'm here to talk about the decor for tomorrow and preparing. Maybe
this one needs help. If you have ideas, he's gonna look to Naomi.
Yeah. I put up my hand and the whole time I'm staring at Cradle. Like I pour wine, but like just to kind of greet him, but I like pour it on the counter. Because like I have to stand a specific distance with heightened senses away from this man.
Can I go over and just take an empty glass from you and sip and say thank you?
Yeah. Who takes a scarf, pours on perfume on it, and then just like pretends she wears a hijab, and just like in the back being, yep, I understand everything, got it. Regina Blake, bathroom anywhere. Do you want to go for a walk?
We can go downstairs and talk about. I mean, she points to Vaughn. The buffet. Do you need help with that to make it look presentable, or are you just gonna do the cooking?
Yes, he does. That's
I'll
a
have
yes.
a nice little chemistry set going that will that will give the illusion like, oh, this is refined. Like you go to a brewery and you have those big tanks filled with things, but not that extent.
Before his disappearance, Victor has given you about, I think, 20 gallons of blood of unknown origin.
Damn.
I miss Victor.
Well, I guess I can go ahead and start brewing and brainstorm while I'm doing it. Whatever the hell I'm going to do tomorrow. So.
Regina will be working with you, just, for the polish and the aesthetic touches. She's really good at that. Naomi?
Yeah, I was about to say, can I get a taste test of what we're presenting before we sign off on this amount of blood that we're getting?
I think that's an excellent idea. I'm glad you suggested that. Yes, Regina and Naomi will both do the taste test. I think that their palates are magnificent.
Yes, I'm getting a more refined palette as we go. I could tell you a lot of information. I just
we want this absolutely. We want this to be 10 out of 10. Best vintage.
No punch bowls. That's too tacky.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Vaughn's just like, damn it. Shit. All right. I was really looking forward to that.
I think the Toreadors are going downstairs.
Naomi puts almost like a paper bag on her head, trying to get the fuck out of this room.
Darius, he looks at you, Cradle.
Yeah.
And says, how does it work? Is the, what do you call it, web or something? Is that still
the Nexus? Yeah.
Can you hear the others? Like a certain detective?
Yeah. I mean, all the time, It's great. Never alone.
You're gonna be able to let us know in terms of any, how shall we put this, rude or inappropriate thoughts tomorrow night, I assume,
And if you wanted to keep an arrow,
disclose what's in their hearts, but I'm sure that you'll give us a heads up if they're about to say anything untoward.
oh, I am, and if they are, I can diffuse. It's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get along just fine as soon as we
gonna be
get that
fine.
body of your problem.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what I do is kind of, invisible.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm down
was
with
it-
that.
love, yeah. Gravity, yeah. Time, yeah. Invisible. They're all the best things are invisible. You don't notice them. You just see the effect. I'm like that, I'm like
That's
love.
That's right. Yeah. And Lilith.
Hell yeah, man. Right on.
Hey.
The fifth element, right?
Hey,
You
you
see that
smoking.
around here, right? It's just like he's gonna motion to the room, because in living color, right? That's what's going on. So,
Cradle, for just a moment, the walls of the building, they're whispering in ancient tongues.
Alex is just gonna give him a wink.
Yeah, man. This is a lovely place you have. I mean,
Right?
man, this would be a great place for a zoo. You could have like an aviary in a room back there. Would be very interesting. And then iguanas and kind of other lizards.
I will take your suggestions into consideration. I like the aviary idea. Yeah, I think that would work. The rest, the iguanas, yeah, iguanas and birds, not so much. They don't mix it.
I mean, there's a lot of shit here already, so.
Yes, that's fair. But. Yeah, I'm. You know what? You got some ideas. You're bringing some ideas to the table. I see you, right? And so I'll take your aviary suggestion. I like that. That's good. Yeah.
You have a garden here, right?
Yeah, iguanas eat the plants. Okay, we can't deal with that. All right, we can't have that. All right, I'm not going to have a bunch of plant munching lizards. Okay, that's out. Okay, I'm just going to have to put my foot down right now. No iguanas. All right, they're not even native to London. Okay, just everybody. I'm gonna get questions, right? They sometimes get out of control. Them and the Komodo dragons. Okay, we just can't have that. All right.
You're very protective of your garden.
I am. And he's like suddenly serious. Like, yeah, I am. Yeah, it means a lot to me.
There is, he says. I mean, he only has about 4,000 rooms, so just muttering to himself, but with a smile.
I was wondering.
And we're expanding.
I was really wondering what you're cultivating here.
Yeah.
That's part of why I came.
That's right. You want to be part of this. I know. And if you know anything about horticulture and everything else, we already have an expert. She just left. Right. I've got her all over, like our gardens and everything like that. She's going to help out. You can plainly see that she's just got a green thumb. And she's going to totally help us with everything here. But and birds, I like it. Again, I have a fondness for the aviary idea, so we're totally going to go with that.
That suits you,
Yeah.
You see yourself bird-like, roost.
It's interesting.
I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of coming into my own here. I have no idea. I have no idea from night to night what I am.
Yeah, I know.
Some nights it's a bird. Some
That's
nights
why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. It's about the journey, right? Not the destination. So what, Cradle? He's going to come up and put his hand on his back. I like you. And I trust that you will be in tip-top form tomorrow night. And we will be able to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch, smoothly.
Sure.
Welcome to London. You will be provided with our all-access special technology for communication. Not that you'll need it, I'm sure. But
whenever you're done.
Yeah. So it's great to see you. Thank you for introducing yourself. We have got some exciting things planned. There's going to be a lot of really old people there tomorrow night, and we're just gonna have a great time.
All these people in one place.
Yes,
like a bomb.
It's unheard of, right? And it's just gonna be fantastic.
You ever hear of Chernobyl?
I'm sorry?
It's a very famous story.
No, feel free to enlighten.
You haven't heard?
No, I don't believe I have.
You haven't. Man, this is your rock, isn't it? Your roost that you've been living under.
I listen. I deal with a lot, right? I've got a lot on my plate. Just in case it wasn't clear, I got people missing arms. I got people fortifying.
People.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just like it's never ending.
People.
Right? I know. And nobody appreciates it. Nobody appreciates how much I deal with every single fucking night. All right, so
just stop doing it, then they'll appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, right? I should just let it all slide, right, and just let it all go. No, I can't. I can't take a day off. I'm the manager of the store. That's the way it works. So
is that really who you are? A store manager? Is that who you want to be?
Figure of speech.
No.
Understatement. Okay.
Never a figure of speech.
If I came out and said I was ruler of the world, people with their little fragile egos,
that's also
issues. Like I've done that. They get the hairs on the back of their neck. It all goes up and everything like that. It's just anyhow. Cradle.
I see why you're a bird. I see. Chitter, constant.
Yeah. What? We have so much to talk about, but It's getting busy tonight.
You're gonna
I'll
hate me soon.
Take care of. He's gonna like move into the elevator. Close the doors. Like, all right, man. See you later. Good night.
To suffer terribly and know yourself as the cause, that's hell, my friend. That's hell.
Yes. Bye.
See you next time.
Groovy, man. Hell yeah. You take care.
Well, we soon need to get to the ball, so I have a few questions or things I need to settle on. Vaughn, are you getting brewing?
Yep.
It's just all the best alcohol you can get your hands on, I assume.
Oh yeah. Benjamin's helping me out a little bit, and Naomi is taste testing. I'm like, what about this blend? What about with this? Like all those, we have these batches, and I'll have like a little cup, and I'll put it out for her, and she'll taste it, and she's like, maybe more of this or something like that. And then we just go back to the drawing board, try and make it really nice.
I'm just gonna jump here for just a second, but Naomi, you're with Regina in this fucking immensely huge hall. I expect it could be a place where a concert could be had, but it's mostly empty right now. She's just looking around the room and says, I need your opinion, but I think if we elevate the end and put a very large throne with tapestry, what do you think would represent him best? Like a symbol or something? Like, I feel like the scepter and the sword is a bit on the nose, and a guitar is, they're not gonna get that. So I don't know, something that says Alex Kairos.
Naomi is like deeply focusing, like trying to get her senses back, and like is sniffing her scarf and stuff, and is like looking at the aesthetics and pauses and kind of notice how dusty like some of the corners of the room is. Can I use like my pretend celerity and kind of like quickly clean it?
Well, you can
like
crawl
the
on
walls and shit.
So
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna do that, like not even 5 minutes, and I'm still kind of hearing what she's saying.
I was just calling out and say, we have people for that, dear. She's very confused that you are proactive, I guess.
Yeah, so because of her history, she sighs, and it's like, I was a cleaner when I was human. A lot of people don't notice these spaces, but I could literally smell the dust in the corner. Anyways, let's go. Yeah, so definitely Prince, royalty, gold. Do we have a color scheme going on? What's the aesthetic here? Like, what's the dream we're going for?
I think he likes red, right? But maybe I was thinking something with a big tree. That seems to be his symbol, really. I mean, the building itself is like a giant tree.
So we all like red. I want to avoid anything that might look like fire to all of our old fogies that are going to be attending. She completely disregards and disrespects like the fact that there's so many old fucking people we have to entertain for the night.
I mean, it's not uncommon, and I've learned a few things from Victoria, but I mean, we definitely need some live music, preferably not of the electronic sort.
Yes, I don't think our Prince's music is going to ultimately be tailored to the tastes. How about
maybe one of his quieter songs?
Remixes. We have to go classical. This is the only thing these people know. We have to go royal. We have to go, remember the 1500s, like Renaissance, like medieval. I don't know.
I feel like they would think the drum is a great invention, and that's, or like a lute is almost too complicated. But
what are those old instruments? We don't have an organ, obviously. I
can get.
I would say. Where's Killjoy? Like, he's the music guy, right? Alex, she basically quickly calls up and only says one word to Alex and be like, in the most panicked voice possible, music.
And you hear in the background, medieval themed.
Just put on some Bach, right?
Yeah, Bach, Mozart.
Yeah, Bach, Mozart. It's modern to them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll be bopping their hips to whatever.
Right, exactly. It's perfect waltzing music. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. And then just hangs up. She basically brings out a folder. She really hasn't put that much work into it, but it's very straightforward. Like, it's almost idiot proof. Color scheme, here you go. Avoid anything flammable, just in case. We'll go with neutrals, but keep it rich in jewel tones. You know what I mean? Silver and gold never hurts. You know what I mean? Maybe not too reflective. Maybe like matte. I don't know. Anyways, you'll figure it out. She hands it over.
I have
Also, yes.
I have a quiet service, because obviously they can't be getting their own drinks, and none of us are low enough station to do that kind of job.
Yes.
But I'm well aware that these kind might not make it through the night, but let's at least try to keep them sated.
Yes, that is...
I hope...
Are you sure they can't tell?
I mean, I think they're gonna be very delighted by Vaughn's blood creation or potions or whatever. I don't think most of these people have tasted anything in about 1,000 years or more.
So let me... What Vaughn's doing, because we haven't spoken. The vats of blood, and then we're going to enchant it, basically, with what Vaughn has, not Van.
As far as he pours it into the thing, and then you can taste it.
Fantastic.
I'm not really magic, but I think that's how it works.
We're going to take Scarlett's basic recipe of the tea, and then expand it to include things like whiskey, wine, any number of different concoctions that we can do. And because you have such a discerning palate, and the Toreador, you are the perfect dummy to see if it's good enough for a Methuselah to drink. So
she starts to panic on the inside. Right. Get the taste testing sorted. Can I actually use my new ability on the taste?
Which one are you referring to?
I think it was Ritual we bought. I bought 2, and they both have to do with tasting blood.
No, no, you don't want to do this. It's like one is a truth serum, and the other one is a paralyzer.
Okay, never mind. Okay, but I do want to read it. The same thing I did with our human what do you call it? Who we captured. I want to eat enough to kind of like, okay, where's the history? Like, where has this been? How'd they get it, etc.
I mean, you don't have eat food either, so you haven't tasted anything in, I don't know, 40 years. So it's marvelous to you, but you have tasted Vaughn's concoctions before. So I don't know. It's ultimately up to you guys what you think is appropriate. Like $100 bottles of wine. And Regina notes that I don't think we should, like, if it looks like blood, it's probably good. Like wine and red drinks and I don't know. Or maybe they want to.
I'm not there, but like maybe aged, you know, in like the way the notes are. It's not actually that, for example, like wine has other things mixed in it. It's just that it carries over the notes of those things, you know. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. She just texts Vaughn being, I trust you. And she just makes sure a lot of, number one, it's clean. The aesthetic looks absolutely fantastic. to go back on the note about the tree, we don't want to use that as the focal point here, but we do want to embrace the essence of nature ultimately, because what we've planned is going to be all encompassing, right?
Well, he does like green.
Yes.
Well, I'm just, getting ideas. I'll get it done during the daylight hours. Obviously, I won't do it myself, but, so it's ready.
She's gonna order plenty of bouquets, whatever is on Alex's budget, to make sure this looks very presentable. The only thing she's not familiar with is how to really.
He's a billionaire with about 15 bees, so.
Yeah. So like jeweled tone roses. We want to make it as welcoming and warm as possible. The only thing is sound quality, acoustics. She has no idea with any of those. So she's going to leave it to Alex's staff, basically, because they know the room better.
Musical performances is something they're experts in. So, acoustics, they're all over that.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Unless there are any final notes.
I'll just say that, so we have like one big vat that has like, we have several large containers that contain like all the different flavors, based on like the different alcohols. There's one that's a bit smaller than the other ones, and there's a little tie-dye sticker on it that just says the word Zang on it. And you see like Vaughn cutting up some shrooms and putting some tabs of LSD in there, kind of mixing them and just stirring it. So
she notices him put like a brick of LSD and being like, "Oh, that's potent."
Just putting the tabs in there and then sifting out the papers to them and throwing them away, making sure the substance is on there. And it's like, we should instruct the bartenders to let the patrons know that this one is definitely different than the other ones.
Sweetheart, we need a full lid and like security on this. We all know your palate is fantastic. I
would like to I just am curious. I know the person has to be on the hallucinogens for me to gain the effect from drinking their blood. Am I able to put hallucinogenic effects into this particular batch of the tea?
Not at the moment, but it's definitely something you can develop.
Okay, all right. Am I a roll to see if I crack the code, so to speak, or no? I understand if not.
Is Vaughn in the room? Like, are we having discussion over a table?
I think people are running around and doing things, and like this is just taking place over the last couple of hours during the night. Vaughn, you can do a ritual roll, just to see if there's anything amazing or extra, or if you drink the whole 20 gallons by yourself, or
no.
So she looks at Vaughn, like kind of doing all this stuff, and was like, "Well, you certainly know how to party, sir. This is to enhance your illusion effects, right?"
This is for people if they want. This is the top shelf stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like this is like if they elect, like the bartender, it's like, oh, unless you want something with a little bit more oomph in it, they can elect to have this instead. And the hope is that it will have an effect. So they will gain something from it.
2 successes is not enough for you to crack the code.
Oh damn.
Well, I still just put a bunch in there, so it's in there now.
Yeah, so I actually call up one of Alex's designers, because he probably has one of like industrial design, and was like, that crystal skull? She makes a duplicate of like the same bottle, and then just basically pours the concoction more or less in it to have it on display, and like it has one of those like pointed tops, so you can take it out and put it back on to pour it.
That's good.
But yeah, she like presents it to you with like the most like, this is somewhat sacred, but at the same time, like, this fucking party's gonna be lit.
Yeah, it is gonna be good. and he takes it with reverence, and he just gives you a little nod. It's like, this is gonna be a good time. So she's like, survive it.
Yeah, I got my eyes on you, bro. I guess I check in with Heather Toreador, make sure she's good. Vaughn's good. decorations. She has the orders coming through for the flowers. Esty, is there anything more you would love for me to control over the situation, or because I feel like there's like 600 other things in her back burner that needs to be also addressed.
And done tonight.